Hi there. Welcome to my garden in the highlands of Louisville. I'm Margaret Carreiro, a retired biology professor from Louisville. And last time we were using both my front and back yards to illustrate different stages of removing lawn in order to convert them to pollinator gardens. And why would we do that? Well, we would do that because lawns use up a lot of fossil fuels in both the making of the fertilizers and the mowing of the lawn, and also use a lot of pesticides if people want the perfect lawn. So why don't you join me in my backyard where you can see where I converted a lawn, a whole grassy area, into a pollinator garden 15 years ago. Now, this spectacular plant is called the royal catchfly. I just love this plant. It's screaming red, which is saying, okay, hummingbirds, if you're around, come get me. And you can tell because it's a tubular, it's got the red, but it's a tubular flower with the nectar reward way down deep. So it needs the hummingbird's tongue to get down there really deep to get out the nectar. But you may be wondering why it's called catchfly. And that's because if you touch the tube part, there's all these little tiny hairs there, and they're really sticky. And they will catch very small gnats, annoying gnats, okay? And they stick to them like flypaper and never come off. Now, some people find that distressing, but that's why they have the name catchfly. And they are just a great hummingbird plant. There's bee balm, which is pretty descriptive of what it does as a pollinator plant. It brings in bees and butterflies and hummingbirds. This flowering plant here is the Ohio spiderwort, and I love it in my garden because there's, first of all, not much that's blue this time of year, but more importantly, it is a great example of how different flower types bring in different pollinators. This plant that you see here is the rattlesnake master. Now, don't ask me how it got that name. I don't think you're going to be mastering any rattlesnakes with it anytime soon. But it is a native plant, native to a lot of meadows. It's in the celery carrot family, believe it or not. And even though those flowers up here are not particularly gorgeous and big, they're not open yet, but they bring in a lot of pollinators. It surprises me. But if you go down to where the leaves are, you can see what a nice erect plant it is. And the leaves are kind of a sagey green. So from an aesthetic point of view, it lends a nice diversity to form in your garden that I think is beautiful. This plant is the narrow-leaved mountain mint. There are a lot of mountain mints that are great in your garden. This does not grow like a mint like crazy, but that really delicate white flower, okay, can make a nice substitute for, say, baby's breath in gardens. Baby's breath is an invasive plant, a horribly invasive plant in meadows. That plant you see growing behind the purple coneflower is one of the hoary mountain mints. The word hoary means it's turning white. And you can see the leaves on the top are turning a lovely sagey white just before the flowers open up and bloom. And this plant, it smells wonderful, but what I really appreciate it most is it's easy to grow, but brings in, I'll tell you, the highest diversity of different pollinators I have ever seen a single plant bring in my garden.